Today on the workbench I have, this is an Athearn ready to roll. It is an SD50 and we are going to be putting Soundtrack's a Tsunami 21 pin decoder in this, and I've got something here I haven't tried before. This is a Soundtrack's part 810159, and this is a board that'll go from a 9-pin plug to the 21-pin connector on the Tsunami2. So we're going to use those two items, and then I've got a TCS Wow Sound speaker. This is a 16 by 35, I believe, but you can see the part number there on that, 1716, and it has a speaker housing with it. Let's get this out of the box here. And I know that light's reflecting off of that. So we'll get that. Get rid of that. Get that out. That. Set it off to the side. Thud. Alright, so this is what we have. Doesn't look too hard. Let me pull these pieces of styrofoam out of the railing. That way you can get a look at that on its side there. It's a pretty nice locomotive. Of course, this is a old Athearn. This belongs to one of the members of the club. I'll install this for him. I'm going to put this back in here, that way I don't smash the railings. But to get this apart, we'll start by pulling the couplers off of it. We do that just by unscrewing that, pulling the box out. There's one. And this should just be a plug and play kind of deal. Of course, I say that a lot of times and then I end up doing something to it. Persuasion there to get that out, and then that pulls right off. And of course this has the it has the 12-volt bulbs in it, I believe. I'll have to check, but we've got that plug right there. Really shouldn't have to do anything other than, like I say, I want to check the bulbs. I'm going to see if it says here on the instruction manual which bulbs this has. Well, oh, light bulbs. It tells you the part number for the light bulb. I may have to look that up. Probably should have looked it up before now. Stop. Must remove 9-pin dummy plug before 8-pin install. Okay. So let's pull this off. Thing is on there. Oh, that's soldered down, no wonder. Okay, sometimes they must remove 9-pin. Oh, I read it wrong anyway. Must remove 9-pin dummy plug. That's the dummy plug, and evidently I'm the dummy. But anyway, we'll do that. Break out a knife here. Cut this packaging open. Get out the decoder. And all this does is plug right in, just like that. And that'll sit right down in there. So that's that. And then I can take the decoder out of the pack here. Nope. Okay. And that will line up. I'm not sure how they okay, right there. If you can see that, that space is blank right there. That matches up with this right here where there's no pin. So that will sit just like that. The only soldering we'll have to do is for our speaker. And this speaker housing is made to replace that weight. So let's go ahead, pull that off. Be nice. Yeah, that's made just to sit right down on that, just like that. So we'll have to solder some wire to it. I'll probably pull that board back off of there. Let's see if I have any small pieces of wire laying here. Let me turn my soldering iron on. And I do not. Okay, I've got some brown wire here. Won't need a whole lot. Got my soldering iron on. That's the weight. let's see, we'll pull this back off. There's that. That way I can get to my speaker pins. And there are these two on this side. So let's strip some wire here. I like to use this silicone wire, but you can strip it with your fingernails. Little flux on that. Little flux on the wire. And I know you can't see that. There's that. There's that. There's that. Put some flux on this side. This silicone wire, it doesn't melt with the heat like a regular wire does. Okay, there's that, and I'll cut this in half out here. Strip that off. Then I'll strip that one off, and I don't strip off very much of that. If you can see that, that may be a 1/16 of an inch of wire. Not much. So before I solder that onto the speaker, we'll run it through the hole in the speaker housing. What am I doing? Need to leave that out. Okay. I'm going to flux and tin these two speaker wires. I think I'm zoomed all the way out here. Slide that back. Let's see. Nope. So here's one. Dumb me, I should have soldered them to the speaker first. So there's that one. Down through there. There's that. Stick those wires down that way. We'll get that in there. That'll seal that up. I'll pull this back over here some so I can see down in there. I may have to get a longer, I have to find a longer screw, I believe. To put down in there. Let's see. Do I have here? That's a 1/2 inch. Okay. Just running that screw down in through. I'm hoping that I think that'll work. If that's too long, I may have to cut it off just a little. I don't have, no, wait a minute, I do have a 3/8. Okay, let me pull this out. This feels like a 3D printed case. I've never used one of these before. But we'll use those two. They're long enough. And I'll seal this all up after I get it. Yeah, that'll be long enough. Just want to get them started in here. I'll seal this up after I get it mounted. But I want to hear what it sounds like. So there's that. That mounts nice and easy. Then we just put our plug back in, or board back on, and let's set this up on the test track. I'm going to just kind of do this temporarily. Unplug that for a second. And I know you can't see that. And we've got sound. See what else we have here. We've got a short. Let me put this back on. Now, I'm not sure why we had a short, unless I don't see anything touching. Let's see. Oh, I see what it is. Somehow, the motor wire on this side was, or has been, disconnected. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's right, because it picks up through the plug on there. Okay. I don't think anything is touching. Let me pull this up a little bit. Pull it off. And it can only go that way. Let me just set that on there. Slightly. The board may be shorting. Okay. Well, I didn't get it on there far enough that time. Just leave the shell off. I have reverse, but no forward motion. Okay, so let's pull this off here. We have reverse. But no forward. That's a new one. Pull my There's nothing touching on the board. That shouldn't be. All the way down. And we're still going. Must remove 9-pin dummy plug. I already did that. So that is of no concern. But I don't understand. Have forward, or I have reverse, but no forward. I just do not see anything. Nothing bent in the plug itself. Speaker. See, just when I think it's going to be a plug and play, I see nothing on that board. That would make it short. Let's see. White. So my pickups are fine. That is a conundrum. Make sure we're plugged in good. Doesn't look like there's any solder. Nope. Right there. That purple, let me get my tweezers here. I don't know if you can see this or not. This purple is disconnected. Let's see, what is the purple? Violet, function 2. Shouldn't really have to worry about that one, but you never know. Could be a bad solder joint there from the I'm going to leave that loose. Going through its startup again. I think maybe what it is, I've got my circuit protector set. I may have it set too low, and it's going off on that. So I think, let me reconnect my circuit breaker. I'll be back here in a second. Today on the workbench, I've got something here. I was doing an install, and you can probably hear my install running in the background. I've got it testing right now. But this was an Athearn ready to run model. And this is the factory board that came on that. It's at the 9-pin plug, the 8-pin plug, DCC ready, and had it all installed, but there was one problem. I mean, the locomotive ran fine on DC, but when I put the decoder in it, because I used this board, used a 21-pin Tsunami connector, and a 21-pin Tsunami2 decoder. I'd turn it on, sound worked great, everything, but there was a short, and I finally found the short. I know this wire's off of here, this purple wire, but the short is back here on the back of the board. Now, I'm going to hold this up as close as I can. Between the second, get a little something here to point with. Between the second and third pins, those two are touching, and that was my short. So, and the way I found that, let me see if I can hold this down here, and I've got my meter hooked up, and I don't know what I'm going to be getting here, but between, see, I can touch that and any of the rest of these and I have nothing, or touch any of the rest of these and I have nothing. But if I'm on that second pin and that third pin, you can hear that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in there with the soldering iron and get that little, I mean, it's just a minute piece of solder. Now, like I say, I don't know if I can put my magnifier under there. You can kind of see where it's touching in between the pads, between the second and third. But anyway, I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull the solder out of that. I'll probably use some desoldering braid to get that off of there. And maybe I just try and touch it with the soldering iron the way it is. First I want to we'll put some flux on that just to clean that up a little bit. I've got a solder sucker. I'll turn that around, clean the tip off. Got a fairly small tip on there. and I'll have to take and clean that off with some alcohol. Let's see what that did, if anything. Open my alcohol up here. And this was a brand new locomotive too. So just because it is brand new doesn't mean that you won't have any problems with it. Now, you shouldn't have any problems with it. But get that back out. I can't tell by looking. So let me put the meter back on it here. Nope, still there. Let me see if I can take a closer look at it here. Okay, it still has some solder on it. And we'll have to pull this down. And I wish I could show you this. Show you what I'm doing anyway. But it's hard to do. Turn that around so I can see it. I may have to almost got it there. There, I think that got it. Pull this back down. And there, you can see a little gap between that second and third one up there. Let me put my meter on it. Turn it around where I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So now I have that part fixed, and I need to clean that off a little bit. So that board's good, other than I need to put this back on. So let me zoom out. Now, you can buy these boards. I think they're 15 bucks from Athearn, but if you can repair it, you've saved yourself $15 or whatever. Luckily, I had one for this install, had an extra one. Oops. But now I'll go ahead and fix this board. That way I'll know the next time I go to do an install. Let me flux this wire up. Some flux there. Let me get some flux down there on that. Break my solder out. And we'll tin that. Tin that. And really, I don't need this function on this board. I'll never use that function probably. Yeah. Get the solder up on one side there. There we go. Alright, so now let me clean that back off. When I clean that off, I use denatured alcohol. That all cleaned up. That cleaned up. So there, now we're back in business with a, I wouldn't say a new board, but a repaired board that will be good to go for our next decoder install. But I just wanted to share that. I know a lot of that stuff, a lot of this kind of stuff like this, if I have trouble on an install, of course, where's the first place you go? YouTube. I like to look at YouTube. A lot of good ideas on YouTube, a lot of misinformation on YouTube. But I'll look and look and look for stuff and never find what I'm looking for. So I'll make a video and then I'll post that. But anyway, just a little repair tip. Alright, thanks for watching. Alright, just to bring you back here and show you that board we just repaired is working. I've hooked up a Digitrax DH126 to it and got some power leads hooked up off of the track, motor hooked up, and got it set to address 3. So now that's our repaired board. We're not pulling that many amps. And it's working just fine. So let's see, what does that pull? There's a little bit of range there. 0.14, 0.03. So, of course, this thing, it needs cleaned up just a little bit, but maybe that'd help it run a little smoother. But anyway, that's our repaired board, and we're working good. All right. Thanks for watching. Alright, so we've got it all finished up. Got it up on the test track or test stands, and as you saw in the video, we had a little difficulty with the board. I went ahead and repaired the board, and you saw that. I'm gonna include that in there. But what I didn't do was show me sealing up the speaker. I did do that. Used a black RTV sealant in there to hold that down, to seal that up. And basically that was it. After I figured out what was wrong with the board, it all went back together really well. And so let me fire this thing up and we'll listen to it. So it is all factory settings. I've even still got the address set to 3. So, but anyway, that's basically that in a nutshell. It was a pretty quick install. I wish it would have went really smooth and wouldn't have had any problem. But, like I say on a lot of these, if you're not having any problems when you're putting these things in, well, you're either really, really good or you just don't tell anybody that you have problems putting them in. So, I mean, I've put in a few where I've never had any problems, but seems like there's always something. But don't let it discourage you. That's why I try to put these videos out. Anybody can do this. It is not a hard process. So, thanks for watching.